Good morning. I thought after the last 5 days on the island, getting blown to pieces and rained on a lot, we needed something a bit calmer. So I made the 6 and a bit hour drive up last night and I'm in Glencoe. And I came here for two reasons. Number one, it was the only place on the weather map that I could find that looked even vaguely calm and dry this weekend. And secondly, there's unfinished business with a couple of locations up here. Now I'm at Glencoe-Loch. I stayed last night at Treochen, and I'd intended to shoot that this morning. But when I got out of the van, because it's at the bottom of a valley, the wind was just whipping down and the water was rippled, and that wasn't what I wanted. I needed reflections. And there wasn't as much snow on the two mountains as I thought there might be. So I hopped in the van, 5 minutes down the road, I'm at Glencoe-Loch, and I'm currently getting photobombed by ducks. Go away! I wanted to shoot the Pap of Glencoe, which is just over there. Because of the angle of the sun, I was shooting straight into it, which you know I don't like. Yes, I could bracket it. No, I really can't be bothered. I don't like doing brackets. I don't know why, it's just me. So I've just been moving around the loch, trying to find a better composition. And I've settled at the far end, where they're actually doing quite a bit of remedial work. There's lots of greenery disappeared from down here. There's a nice shiny new bridge. The waterfall has been improved. It leads down into a pond at the other side. And I'm guessing they've had floods, because all this is a little wall here. Yeah, you can just see it. And that kind of looks like the cement is new. I'm just running a 10-stop through. The water is smooth, except for where the blooming ducks keep bombing me. But there's some nice clouds, and I just thought I'd have a go and see if I could get some streakiness. So yes, as I was saying, I've moved around and I've come down to the far end, or the entrance end of the Loch, and I've got a beautiful mountain range, topped with snow, I had some beautiful light on it this morning. The kind of alpenglow, not very strong, but it was there. We didn't get a huge amount of colour in the sky, just a smidge. So I have a simple composition, but not a simple exposure. We've got really bright blue sky, even brighter clouds, lovely light, which is bouncing off the white snow-capped mountains, and then we have a massive band of dark green where the trees are. You can just see them there. So I popped a couple of filters on, grad filters, over the top where the mountains are. And then I've just popped the 10-stop in. This morning I wasn't shooting with the 10-stop, it was just the 2 grad filters. But I just thought I'd try a long exposure because the clouds are moving quite nicely. And I think I'm shooting at f13. I've popped the ISO up to 200 on the 10-stop because the exposure was taking too long and I was getting really bored. But yeah, it's lovely not to be getting blown into the middle of next week. Ha! I'm kind of hoping you can hear me, because as you can see in the background, I found a little waterfall. Now, I'd actually come to this location, so I'm aware you're being blinded by the sun, but I'm really in a bit of a spot. Let's try that. Right, I'm trying to shield the microphone. I'd actually come to see the Grey Mare's Tail waterfall at Loch Leven. And I mean, it's wonderfully well signposted. Even I can't miss it. So I had a wander around, and it's a very, very impressive waterfall. It's huge, and the water is flying over it. In order to get to it, I presume it's the council, have very kindly put out what I can only describe as floorboard planks. One width. And they're very wet. And I think there was 3 of them, there might have been 4. So I had to go without my bag on, because I thought, if I'm going to fall in, I don't want my gear getting wet first. So I walked across them and got to a point where you could possibly have made an image. But although there was a load of water coming through over the fall, there wasn't enough coming over the rocks that were in front of me to actually make it worthwhile lugging my gear over and risking falling in the water. So I gave that one up as a bad job, and I wandered further upstream, and I just spotted this little fall coming down the side of the hill. Having got here, I'm not entirely sure I'm going to get back up. It doesn't look like I'm in a particularly precarious position, but I'm balancing on a log. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. It's fallen in the water. I've got the tripod precariously balanced on one stone here, on this rock here, and the bottom end of the log that I'm stood on. In order to get back up, I've got to sort of wander through this woody bit and the water that's flowing down here and somehow get back up there, but we'll worry about that in a minute. Now, it's a very tight composition because I've got bright sunlight coming up in here. What's attracted me is these vibrant greens on either side, and the water just sort of snaking down and then scooting out the bottom right hand corner of the image. But up here we've got ridiculously bright light, and I've tried it with a filter, and I've been stood here with a filter on, just a 0.6 ND grad, and having to hold a piece of black card to shield this side of the lens because the sunlight is coming in and it was causing me light bursts. I put the polarizer on simply because I wanted to darken down the water at the bottom here, and I was shooting, it was roughly, I think it was 1/3 of a second, let me just check. Yeah, 1/3 of a second, and oops, that's gone the wrong way. 1.5 seconds, just to see which I preferred. And because I'm in such a iffy spot, I'm not really sure which one I prefer, if any. But it is very tight on both sides of the frame, so that I didn't get too much of the brightness in. And there's one little hot spot in the water, which is, where is it? Just in there. I've got one shot that was slightly underexposed that hasn't got that, so I'll probably blend that in. But other than that, I quite like that, and it was an unexpected find. Because it's a blue sky day, and bright sunshine, and the tide's out on the Loch, and Loch Leven, so there's really not a lot of interest anywhere. I'm simply killing time now, as I say, wasting time, never wasting time, killing time until sunset. But yeah, I think that worked quite nicely. And while I was here, I took the opportunity to try the different metering modes. I tried spot metering. I normally use matrix, or I think people call it evaluative, and let the camera decide. That's normally good enough. But I thought, I'll just try it. And in all fairness, using spot against matrix really didn't make a lot of difference. So I should stick with matrix. I've just gone down up to the top of my welly gogs in that stuff. Well, I've been wandering around this location for about 3/4 of an hour now,